All right, fine folks, good morning. Today is Friday, December 30th, 2022, the very last Friday of the year, and this is your weekly safety meeting. My name is Dennis Davis. I work in the safety department. We are located in the Z building on the ground level right in the center of the room next to the pillars. So if you ever have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to stop by and chat one of us up. We don't ever promise to have all of the answers to your questions, but we've got a talented group of trucking professionals here inside of the building that can probably get you what you need. So we're going to be as transparent as we possibly can at all of these meetings, giving you all the information that we can. We've got an exciting meeting today of folks from different parts of the building that'll be able to give you some year-end information and some information that'll help you going into 2023. So breakfast is free. So if you haven't jumped in line to order breakfast, feel free. Let's give John Blanchett and his team over there a good round of applause at all three of our locations for feeding us hungry trucking professionals on this, what is this, New Year's Eve? Is that what it is?
Close enough, yeah. We're rolling with it.
New Year's Eve. So we are live on Facebook and YouTube as well as LinkedIn. So welcome to those of you that are watching live on social media. Please click like and subscribe so you can get notifications whenever we go live on these meetings or post other content. We are also simulcasting live at our other locations. So Piston in Salt Lake City. Let's see who we got with us this morning. We'll go east first. Piston, Pennsylvania. Good morning, Rick. How you doing?
Good morning. We're doing fantastic. All five of my friends here.
All right. So not a huge crowd, which is okay. I see you got your buddy Bill next to you, but folks are either at home with family still or out on the road running, right?
Oh, let's hope they got home. It's everybody wants to be home for Christmas and the new year, and let's hope that they do get home when they want to.
So, of course, any driver that chose to take a few days off during this holiday season, great work. We love it. Any of our drivers that chose to stay out and run some freight, we love that too. So anything new and interesting going on, especially as we transition into 2023 in Pittston?
Well, last week we were down in single digits or below minus degrees. This week we're up in the 50s, 60s almost this weekend for the New Year's. So yeah, we're bringing in New Year's right.
All right, so good to know that the weather has taken a drastic turn. It's taken a drastic turn here. I took a look at some stats on yesterday. So yesterday at about 3:00, a week ago, Thursday, the wind chill in Springfield, Missouri was minus 27 degrees, and yesterday at about 3:00. It was 70 degrees. So 1 week's time frame, that's about a 100-degree wind chill change and from 1 week to the next. So welcome to the Midwest. Welcome to the new climate that we're in, and this is what we folks that are north of the Mason-Dixon line have to deal with, right?
Thank you, Mother Nature.
Oh, absolutely. So, of course, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to jump on the microphone, and we'll get you right on.
Thank you. Now, you guys be safe this weekend.
All right. Appreciate it. So let's go west, Salt Lake City. I think we got Troy with us this morning. Good morning, Troy.
Morning. We got about a dozen happy people here in Salt Lake this morning.
Hey, that's good to go. Good to go. Hey, appreciate having you guys on. Troy, good morning. You and a dozen of your friends. Tell us what's going on in Salt Lake City.
It's we didn't have an orientation class this week, for the holiday, but we got a bunch of people coming in still. We got upgrades, people coming in and getting trucks. We're still busy. We're still got a lot of people coming through the terminal and trying to get home, getting home for New Year's, hopefully getting home to their families and stuff. So got a good crowd. We're still having some good breakfast here, and we still have some students out here in our local class that are getting their CDLs, getting ready to get their CDLs. So it's a good crowd here.
I forgot to ask Ricky, but I'll come back to him here in a second. But Troy, what's your New Year's resolution going to be?
You know, I really don't have anything to improve on. We're perfect out here. So no, just treat people great. You know, I mean, treat people the way you want to be treated. That's kind of what the Prime motto is. And that's just the way to live, you know? And so if everybody can live by that, we're going to have a good new year.
Well, that's excellent. So I'm glad that you resolved to treat people fantastic. So hopefully, and we're going to hold you accountable to that. We're going to make sure that you do that and everything that you do, whether you're shopping at the grocery store or whether you're here at a Friday morning meeting. So, hey, as always, Troy, we appreciate you being on. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to jump on the microphone.
I did want to say something about Pennsylvania coming to the Rose Bowl against the
Wait,
the
before
Utah
you say that, you just had a resolution. So go ahead.
Well, good luck to Penn State. I hope they don't lose too bad. How's that?
Fair enough. Now, you know those folks in Pittston, like 80% of the terminal went to Penn State, so I'm pretty sure you'll be hearing from them a little bit later.
I'm sorry for their loss. I really
They haven't played the game yet.
I just, that's my New Year's prediction. Sorry for your loss.
All right. You may be eating crow here in about a week, so. But good deal. We appreciate you being on this morning.
Okay, thank you. Have a good day.
All right back here to Springfield, Missouri. Good morning, folks. How are you? We got a little bit of life in here. Last week it was pretty dead, Christmas Eve. But now we're here on New Year's Eve, ready to go. So with me this morning, I've got Dave White here in the safety department. Good morning, Dave.
Good morning, Dennis.
All right.
You know what's going on tonight, don't you?
What's going on
A
tonight?
little bit of a holiday party. That's why we got a few people here.
It's a party,
We're gonna have a good time tonight.
I'll tell you this morning, I'm getting up a little bit earlier these days and coming into work a little bit earlier. And I got my clothes all ready to go this last night. And I was so focused on getting donuts this morning, I forgot my clothes.
Sometimes priorities just take over in your
There you
life.
go.
So
There you go.
Gotta
So-
go with the donuts. That's right.
So, we want to welcome any new folks that we have with us here. I don't know that we have a ton. We have one or two. So if you're new here to Prime, no matter what seat class you are at all three of our locations, please stand and give us an opportunity to welcome you. I see a few. Come on, stand up. Don't be shy. There you go. There you go. Good deal. Good deal. So at all of our locations, welcome to our new associates. We're glad that you're here. You picked a fantastic time to come into the industry. Happy New Year to you. Welcome to the family. We're going to get you all assimilated into the way we do things. And of course, if you ever have any questions, don't hesitate to come to us. You coming up already? Oh, okay. Well, say, hey man, she took that literally. I thought she was coming up. If you ever have any questions, come on up and we'll get you taken care of. And to our veteran folks that have been with us for, whether you've been with us just for a few weeks or a few decades, we want to tell you welcome home. We're glad you're here in Springfield, Missouri this weekend. As Dave alluded to, there's a fantastic holiday party. This is the first holiday party we've had in ever, so we anticipate that this is going to be a fantastic experience tonight. We mentioned John Blanton and his crew earlier this morning. They are going to roll out the red carpet for each and every one of you. I'm going to skip lunch today just to make sure that I've got enough room to take in all of the delectable treats that we'll be dining on this evening. So,
No doubt. Hey, do we have anybody this week that's a rehire coming back here from Prime? Coming back to Prime? Driven somewhere else? Any rehires in here? No. Kind of, sort of? Come on up here. You're the lucky one, man. Go ahead. Hand him the mic if you would. Oh, you're in the logistics? Okay, well, it doesn't really, I'm sorry. No, we still love you though. That's okay. Yeah, we made you. There you go. How long did you work here?
It's 2011.
Come on up here anyway. Let's check. I got some questions for you. What's your name? First
Richard
of all.
Oler.
Richard Oler. How long were you at Prime when you started?
Since 2011.
2011. So you've been here, what, 11 years roughly?
Yeah.
So what, did you quit and are you coming back on the logistics or?
Nah, I got injured on the job.
Got it. Okay. Now you're coming back. You own your own truck?
Yes, I do.
Okay. How long have you had your truck?
Since 2016.
2016. Okay. So you're coming back and getting your own authority?
Yes, sir.
What made you go that way?
Because I came back and you guys said I couldn't put my truck back on the fleet.
Okay. All right. Yeah, we do have limitations on that. There's no doubt about it. So you're going to bring it back in, get your own DOT number and all that?
Already done.
You already done, ready to roll? Reefer division or flatbed or?
Reefer.
Reefer. Well, good luck, Richard. Nice having you. Thank you for coming up this morning. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, have a happy new year. Hopefully you had a Merry Christmas.
I was here.
You were here? Okay. That's okay. Let's bring Dennis back up here again.
Hey, I was here too. Merry
There you
Christmas
go.
to you. Merry
No
Christmas to
doubt.
you. All right. So, with the way we do these meetings, we're going to give you some safety information, and then we're going to dispatch some of our friends in various departments to give you some fantastic information. So, Dave, you want to hit them with the inspections information this morning?
Yeah, the reason I got Richard up here, I just want to make sure everybody realizes all the different opportunities you have here at Prime. You can be a company driver, be a lease operator, be a co-driver. You can run team with your partner for however long you want to, be an employee or an associate, we call them here. And that's fine. Or you can go off and get your own authority like Richard did and run his own truck, and he's going to go that route. So more power to him. We've got all different types of opportunities here, Dennis. That's why it makes this company a little bit unique, no doubt. So, and we love them all. Love everybody that works here. So anyway, let's look at our safety numbers for this past week. 106 DOT inspections. 63 of those were clean, so a 59% clean rate. A little bit less on the numbers on inspections because the holiday, a lot of scales are closed up. Kind of gave our operators a little bit of a break, so to speak. But we still did pretty good, 59%. Couple of areas I got to sign off on, and kind of the way the inspections work here at Prime, all the inspections come into the safety department and they get entered in by our citations and inspections people. So Sarah and Stephanie enter them all into the system. Then they get sent over to Dennis now. Used to be Steve. Steve's retired, so Dennis is our new safety director. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Ready?
Love having it. Ready to go. That's right. So Dennis goes through all the inspections. Yeah, give him a round of applause. Yeah, no doubt. We're glad we got him, man. There's no doubt he'll be another ace for us moving in and looking for some changes, and we'll have some changes. We'll keep getting better. That's what we're always wanting to do. But Dennis looked at all the inspections. When he's done with them, this was my week to go through them all. So I went through them as well, routed in drivers on certain violations, looked at other ones, made sure we got some stuff fixed. Some of the areas I saw we probably need to watch, and I know it was cold last week, but those pre-trip inspections, it's not cut corners. So a number of inspections for burnout lights, things like that. Obviously, if you're going down the road and you got a burnout light, marker lamp, or whatever it may be, that just gives them a reason to pull you in. Now you already got a bad inspection. So make sure when you're stopping, you always do pre-trips. You check everything, check your lights, check your brakes, make you're comfortable every time you stop that truck. And that's just the easy thing for you to do. It may take you 10, 15 minutes, so that's fine. And just do a quick walk around. Even if you stop and use the restroom, because those lights can burn out on you. You may not even know it. And but the officer, they'll see it from miles away. So just remember that. But yeah, other than that, Dennis, we had a pretty good week for low amount of inspections we had. So
Low amount of inspections. We did have some challenges on the weather side. Across the country, there was a big weather system that went basically from, the panhandle of Texas all the way up to Maine and every state basically in between. And, it hit at a very unopportune time when our available percentage was probably just as high as it's ever going to be in a year. The week leading up to the Christmas holiday, everybody's going to want to be out running. In addition to, everybody's kind of got a plan put together on whether they want to stay out and run or whether they want to get toward the house for Christmas. So, I just want to reach out to every single one of you that had to deal with that, which was a lot of you, and just say thank you for what you did. It's not not an easy time and not an easy task, and it's never, easy to do it when the wind chill is negative 30 degrees in some of the areas that we operated in. And so many of our drivers just made fantastic decisions. They looked at the weather, they communicated with the fleet managers. They erred on the side of caution. They said, hey, I see other trucks out there running, but it's really hard to see the lines out there in the interstate. So I'm going to give it a few more hours. And so many of you made fantastic decisions. You stayed upright. You stayed away from packs. Here just last week, a week ago today, we had two major pileups that closed Interstate 44 right here beside us. eastbound down in two separate areas. None of our trucks were involved in either one of those situations. So thank you guys so much for making those decisions. You know, I feel like the coaching that Dave and John and Bill and Rick are given about, you know, making sure that, you know, you allow jurisdictions to deploy their plows, you allow them to treat their roads, you allow the weather system to pass before we attempt to battle the belly of the storm, you know.
And we found out just coming in last Friday. Last Friday we came in, roads weren't too good. 44 wasn't too good. 65 wasn't. And by the time we went home at 4 o'clock last Friday, 5 o'clock, 44 was nice and clean for me heading out to Republic, and even the county roads out there weren't too bad. So you give them some time, the snow plows, they will address the situation. And, you know, like we always say in safety, you drive your truck to the appropriate speed for the conditions and your ability. So everybody's got different abilities here. We got 4 million milers sitting over at Glen Horrock, 3 million mile Buddy Gray, you know, 2 million mile Ben Walker. So those guys, they may feel comfortable on snow and that, you know, running down the road. They may only be going 20, 25, but if they feel like they can do it, they can do it. And, you know, but some of the rest of us, including myself, if I'm out there and there's snow out there, I'm probably going to wait a little bit and wait it out. And that's fine too. All we ask, make sure you communicate to the fleet managers because they got to know what you're doing, and they can communicate, move it on to the salespeople, and we'll get with the customer, get that taken care of. So.
Excellent. We didn't get through unscathed. We did have some weather situations, and of course we never blame weather on any accident. You know, however, you know we'll unfortunately have to hold those drivers that, you know, didn't make the same decisions that you guys made accountable, but that's okay. It's a part of what we do. It's a part of our culture. And we'll move forward from there. So, hey, Dave, let's talk a little bit about 2023 and what we're going to kind of focus on moving forward. You know, one of the emphasis that we're going to have, or the two emphases that we're going to have, at least in the safety department, one's going to be CPAP compliance and the other is going to be logs. So I'm going to ask John Harden in our safety department to come on up, grab the mic from you. And John, let's talk a little bit about, you know, kind of what our vision for 2023 is as it pertains to CPAP compliance.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. My name is John Harden. I'm also in our safety department, as Dennis mentioned. I would like to welcome all the new folks here at Springfield Terminal, Salt Lake, and Pittston. First of all, thanks for coming out. Thanks for tuning in if this is your first meeting. So as Dennis said, we're going to have a couple of focal points moving forward into 2023 that are very, very important, and we really need everybody's buy-in. We need everybody to jump on board. Very critical that we get these taken care of on a weekly basis. So if you're on a CPAP machine, right, we request your information every Monday. Heather at Cardinal will send that information to us. We put our reports together, send it out to the fleet managers, and we're looking for compliancy. We're looking to make sure that you're using your CPAP. And especially around the holidays, a lot of folks go home, they get busy with family, they forget to wear it, right? So the CPAP is prescribed medication, right? No different than heart medication, right? So we need to make sure we're doing that at home. It's for your health and wellness. We want you to be healthy. We want you to be out here on the road working. So make sure that you're please focusing on that, and please make sure you're sending in that information on Monday. If you're having issues, you know, if it's a mechanical issue with the machine you can't upload, we can do screenshots. Send in your screenshots to your fleet manager. Send them into our safety department. I'll be up here after the meeting. We can get you the contact information. But this is very, very critical for your health. Make sure that you're able to get out there on the road. Make sure that you're compliant and have the ability to work. So, Dennis, you have anything you want to add to that?
Well, I do, but before I jump in, does anybody have any questions for John pertaining to CPAP usage? Kind of what our goals are going to be moving forward? No, not so much, John. They may have laid you off pretty easy, but I'll add just a little bit to that. You know, nobody ever wants to wear a CPAP mask or use a CPAP machine. I get that. You know, I'm a CPAP user, and you know, I knew that I had trouble sleeping. I knew that, you know, I may have snored just a tiny little bit, and it disrupts, you know, my wife's rest a little bit. And you know, however, I didn't know, you know, how significant the change in my day-to-day feeling would be. You know, typically we get up early in the safety department, but typically about noon or 1, I was just, I had to get up and walk around because I was getting drowsy. I was getting tired. but immediately, I mean, when I say immediately, the day that I started using my CPAP machine, I didn't, at least in my mind, changed how much I slept. I still went to bed about the same time. I still got up at the same time, but I think the quality of the rest that I was getting during those hours was completely different. I don't get tired during the day anymore. I feel great. I feel energized in the afternoon. That could be because of the sugar too, but that's a whole nother conversation. But it's so important, no different than John mentioned, somebody with a situation with their heart or a diabetic to insulin, it's not a situation where you're just using it because of the job. This is something that's been prescribed to you by a medical professional. And whether you drive a truck, whether you work in the safety department, it's important that you take care of your health and that you want to live. And that's the important part of what we're doing here.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm personally not on a CPAP machine. I have friends that do not work here at Prime, and I've heard nothing but great things about it. They say it's life-changing. Absolutely.
I think so too. So,
okay. Well, so does anybody have any questions?
CPAP machines are not always an easy thing to jump up in public and ask about. John will be hanging out here after the meeting to answer whatever questions you have. If it gets too technical for you, just right below us is Cardinal Sleep. You can take the stairs or the elevator down and you can walk up and ask whatever questions that you need.
Nathan's down there today, so he can field any questions that you have.
All right. Thank you, John.
You bet. We're going to move on to our next speaker here.
Go for it.
All right. So a second focal point for 2023 is going to be our logs. And here to discuss that is going to be Susan. You want to come on up? So she's going to talk about a few of the different issues that we're running into right now, some common issues, right, Susan?
Absolutely. Okay, so the first thing is stay logged into your Qualcomm. The only time you should log out is if you're putting it in a shop, any shop, a Prime shop, a dealership. You don't want the mechanic driving on your hours. But other than that, stay logged in unless you're turning your truck in. If you do forget to log out and your truck's in the shop, please contact us. We can log you out in our department to make sure that we keep your hours as correct as possible. We can help you with those edits. If you do log out and a shop mechanic does drive on your hours, it's very difficult to get that repaired. When you're logged out, you log back in. It's going to show you unassigned driving events. You'll reject those and simply put shop as your comment. One of the other areas we're having trouble with during roadside inspections is the load tab. So our IT department wrote a program that will populate the load tab with the information that's available at the time of dispatch, but it's your responsibility to make sure the information is correct. If there's any changes, go in and edit it. But that is a common thing we are getting violated for during roadside inspections. Personal conveyance misuse. That's going to be an issue that we are focusing on starting now. Make sure you're using it correctly. When you select it, you get an alert that tells you when you can use it, when you can't use it, and to call the log department if you're unsure. At an hour, you also get another alert reminding you what the correct procedures are to use it. We will be focusing on that, and make sure if you have any questions, you contact us.
So real quick, on
yes.
personal conveyance, because that's a big one.
It is a
right?
huge
That's
one.
the one that we see probably the most down in the safety department, right? So
Yes.
could you give an example of maybe the most commonly misused personal conveyance that you see out there?
Sure. Arriving at a customer. You have to be on the drive line to arrive at all customers. Even if you're 6 miles away from that customer, you have to arrive on the drive line. You can't use PC to arrive at any customer. The other thing we see is cutting your break short, maybe taking an 8-hour sleeper berth break, and then switching to PC, advancing your load. You can't do that. That's a falsification of your hours. You need to stay on the drive line.
So what if I'm at a customer, they're behind, weather, holidays, whatever the case may be, they're behind, they're going to say, hey, this is going to be about 3 or 4 hours. I want to go get something to eat. I want to go use the restroom. Can I use PC to go do that?
yes, you can PC away from a customer to go get something to eat, to find facilities for a bathroom or something like that. You can PC if they're not going to be ready for you and you're going to take a break at a truck stop. But when you return, you have to be on the drive line.
Okay, good. That was my next question. Can I PC back to my shipper?
If it's after a break at a truck stop, no, you have to be on the drive line to go back. Typically, we advise you to be back. We're going to try to utilize split breaks if you have to leave and come back. But that is one of the areas we're getting written up for, drivers PCing back to a customer.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. And then one of the other things, if you do have excessive log points, if you have infractions during a roadside inspection, if you have personal conveyance misuse, you will be required to be routed in and take a comprehensive log class. That's one of the things we have to do to document that we took it seriously.
Perfect.
Okay.
Pete, you have a question?
Back to the PC question. Some of our shippers or receivers, we get through, they say, okay, they want us to disconnect from a trailer. If we PC off to go to a truck stop or something, can we PC back if we don't have the trailer attached to us, but that load is still at the receiver?
Okay, so how the DOT looks at that is that you're returning to a work location. You're going back to pick up your trailer, and that's how they are looking at that. A work-related movement. Okay.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions for Susan here about logs?
Hey, and I just have a quick comment. You know,
Go ahead.
if you think about PC and if you PC is personal conveyance, and if you look at it that way, as far as personal conveyance, you should be able to understand that you cannot use at any time that you're doing any type of work, you can't use personal conveyance.
Absolutely. Good
So you
point.
got to look at it that way.
Also, you can't use personal conveyance to get maintenance on either your truck or your trailer. The DOT considers that maintaining your equipment. You have to be on the drive line for those movements.
Go ahead.
All right, so just to clarify, because it kind of sounds silly, but you can personal convey to go use the restroom, but when you go back, you can't. So what's the point?
So you're just asking, what's the point of even
Yeah, why
going
would
off
you
of your
personal convey
logs?
to use the restroom if you got to drive back? It seems like,
Right. That's probably the best way to explain it. And we didn't make the rules on this,
I
right? So
understand.
we're following how the DOT views it.
Yeah.
And we want to be in compliance with them, obviously.
that's why I
so-
said, because initially when you're listening to it, it sounds like, oh, I can PC to go to the restroom, but then you start talking about something else, and it's like, well, if I was at the truck stop and taking a break, then I can't PC back to get my, I just want to make sure everybody understood. It's kind of pointless to PC to the restroom, but you can't PC back.
Right. And
Why bother?
and also err on the side of caution. If you're not for sure, get on the phone, call your log advisor, ask them, get a hold of your fleet manager. If your fleet manager doesn't know, then they're going to reach out to their log advisor as well. But we definitely want to err on the side of caution with that. Yes, sir.
Yeah, can we still PC from Fuel Island to parking spot?
That we haven't had any issues with.
Perfect.
Okay, and don't forget to use yard movement at a customer. When you first arrive at a customer, yard move to the dock or the holding area. It doesn't come off your 11. It is part of your 70-hour clock, but it's a good way to try to keep your 11-hour clock by using the yard movement status.
Okay.
Okay, thank
Susan will
you.
be up here if you have any other questions. So thank you very much, Susan.
One more question?
Yeah, Todd wants to know, he says, I finished working and dropped trailer. I'm 2 hours from home. Can I PC all the way home?
No. PC is really designed for a small, limited movement in the vicinity of where you are. Don't forget that you're still a commercial driver, you're on the highway system, and you really need to be on the drive line so that your hours reflect what you're actually doing.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, let's give John and Susan a round of applause. It's real important that if you do have questions that you reach out to our log advisors. They are so fantastic over there. All of them are just the nicest people in the world. Jeff Wood is our newest associate out there. He transferred here recently out of our citations department. They're always willing to help. They're always willing to take your phone call. They're always willing to go through and help you if there are changes that need to be made. They're always willing to help. They'd rather fix it on the front end, answer the questions on the front end, as opposed to having to go through, audit, and edit on the back end. So,
And Dennis, what we're looking at mid-February, we plan on having Captain Kelly down here from the Missouri Highway Patrol. He's the head of commercial motor vehicle enforcement for the state of Missouri. So plan on try to get him in mid-February. I think he may bring in his boss, the major, down as well, the C Prime as well, and take that in. So there'll be some more talk about this personal conveyance coming up, and from the enforcement side, which is even more interesting. So look forward to that in February.
Awesome. So we got a couple more speakers coming up, and they've got some fantastic information, and we want to make sure we have time for them. But before we do that, we've got a little bit of housekeeping to take care of. We're going to have Brandon Mallard from our Human Resources Department to come up and talk to you about open enrollment.
Thank you, Dennis. Yeah, Brandon Mallard with the HR department. Really, I just wanted to get up here real quick and remind you independent contractors that open enrollment, once again this year, will be ending on January 15th. That is just for the medical side. The government, does put a hard deadline on the medical insurance. Now, as far as your dental, life, vision, all of those products, you can enroll into those year round, but I don't want you to miss out on that deadline for medical if you haven't enrolled in it. So definitely take a look at your plans. We do have Enrollment First here on site that can help you out. They're over at the campus. You can call them. They can help you get enrolled over the phone. So just a friendly reminder that, don't miss out on the medical open enrollment for this year. I don't want you to have to wait another year to get it if you don't have it. Also on those plans, if you are enrolled in medical through the marketplace, they do require that you re-enroll into those each year. So just make sure you check those out and that your plans are set up exactly how you want them. So does anybody have any questions for me on that?
Why are we required to carry health insurance?
Okay, so currently the way the laws are still written, technically it is written that way, but they have not been penalizing anyone for them.
Because under the Obama
Correct.
stuff that they had, it was mandatory. And at the end of the year, if you didn't file, you didn't have it, they would penalize you on your taxes at the end.
Mhm.
Now, I know that's all changed, but because like a lot of the owner operators here, I found out myself that it's going to cost me like $600 a month just for health insurance for me to carry it. But I can walk downstairs and pay just a flat fee out of pocket and just get treated the way I need for what I need to be dealt with, and I'm done with it.
Correct.
So am I still required to carry that mandatory, health insurance in that aspect?
So as far as the way the law is currently written, it is technically mandatory, yes, but they have not been assessing the fines that have actually put teeth in it. But ultimately, I can't tell you that they won't, start assessing those fines again. So, yeah, hopefully that helps. Right. Does anybody else have any other questions? Nope. Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Brandon. Let's give him a round of applause. Hey, so coming up next, we've basically taken everybody in the Plaza building and drug them on over here to the Friday morning meeting and asked them to speak this morning. We've got a couple, they're not first timers, but they haven't been up here in a while, so they're a little bit nervous. So give them a break. But first, we've got Sean Riker, and he works in like 7 different departments. You know, he has, is over payroll, does a little bit of permits, does R&R. We consider him an extension of the safety department. I think I saw you pumping some diesel out there earlier this morning too.
I just go where I'm needed.
There you go. I love it. So Sean's going to give us some information about year-end permit information. He's also going to give some information about taxes.
Yeah, so I'll start on the payroll side of it, and you guys are all over it because we're already starting to get some calls asking what time you guys get your W-2s and 1099s out. So just kind of cover that with you guys a little bit. We have usually to get all of them done, it takes us till almost the end of the month to do it. They get mailed out to you, but they're also going to be available on your app, and all your prior years are available on your app right now. But you'll know when they're on there because you're going to see it on there. And it'll be anything you have for the year. So if you started out as a, as a company driver, so you have a W-2 for a little bit of time, then you became an independent contractor, all of those will be listed on there for you. And it's just in My Prime, My Documents, and then tax documents. So easy to find, but they're not in there yet because the year hasn't even ended, right? So the other thing I want to tell you guys is we mail them out to you. Every year we get a ton of them back. There's a resource you guys have that I want you guys all to look at on your app. It's a place where you guys can go and you can tell us where you want your permanent address to be, and that's where we're going to mail your tax documents to. So on your app, you can go to My Prime, My Pages, My Information, and then Permanent Address. Look at it. Look at all the information in there because it's going to say your permanent address. It's going to have your emergency contact. It's going to have a lot of things like that in there for you guys. Make sure that information is up to date, because I don't want you calling in February saying, hey, I never got my tax documents, and we look at it and we send it to your old address. So waste everyone's time. So please take a look at that information, get it updated, do it now, because we'll mail them out as soon as we can. Normally it ends up being toward the end of January, but make sure you get it done as soon as you can, guys. Any questions about that side of it? Nope. All right. So Dennis said, I've been fortunate enough to be a part of several different departments, and I actually started in permits. I was there for 10 years, moved out of there to safety for a little bit and then payroll. But during that time, I was fortunate enough to be able to work with Leanne, which I'll ask to come up here now. And really what I did was I realized Rodney had a pretty good crew up at the front desk. So one of the smarter or luckier things I was able to do was bring Leanne over there. So she works in our permit department with John and Joy. And they have, at the end of the year, a big project always comes up, and you guys know it's renewal. But for them, it actually starts, right after Labor Day, honestly. And I know Leanne does a ton of the work on it. All of them do a ton of work to try to get everything ready for you guys. And what you guys see now is the culmination of all the work that they've done. So, they go to all this work, and then every year it seems like some people, don't realize certain things have to happen or things like that. So kind of brought her up here to talk about permits in general, how you get them, what needs to happen. So what's happening? Is it going on right now? Can I get their permits?
Yes. All your permits are available on your app for 2023, the coming year, and the current ones are there for the next couple days still. But once the new year hits, they will be moved over to the current tab on your app under My Permits. If you go to My Pages on the app, there's a option for My Permits, and everything's listed in there. And you are able to show them electronically, so you do not have to have printouts unless you just prefer that. You're able to print it out from the app. So you have that option too. And then you will need to get a set of IFTA stickers before the end of February. We have them in the permits department. You can come see us before you leave and pick up a set. Or if you've had them mailed somewhere already, requested to have them mailed, you can pick them up wherever you have them sent. Let's see. We do not get a new New York permit this year, or sticker this year. That's a 3-year permit. So the one you have should be blue, and you'll keep that for the next 2 years before we get a new one.
I've got a couple of questions. You mentioned 2 stickers, New York Hut and IFTA. Where do each of those go?
The IFTA, there'll be 2 stickers. It's a set, one on each side of the truck underneath the door. So you'll have one on your driver's side and one on your passenger side. And then the New York Hut goes on the front bumper so that they can see it when you pull through when you're in New York.
And a couple of meetings ago, they talked about old IFTA stickers being on your tractor. Guys, there's no benefit to leaving them on there. And there's especially no benefit to you trying to put a sticker on top of an old sticker. It doesn't stick well. So clean it off, find a nice day to do it. because you actually have till the end of February to put your stickers on. And they do that so you can find a nice day. So if they were here last week trying to put a sticker on, it wasn't going to work, right? So make sure you have them, get them on there by the end of February, and clean your old stickers off, clean the area, stick them on there. And when I say the end of February, have you ever seen a grace period on that?
No, actually, I've seen people get ticketed for it at midnight, like that very day, March 1st. They will start writing tickets.
Are ITSA stickers available at any other locations or just here?
They're available at all the prime locations, so you can pick them up. And they're not truck specific, so if you happen to be somewhere you didn't know you were going to be, you can pick one up while you're there.
So we mentioned the app quite a few times. Two things about the app. Number one, what do you recommend if they get somewhere and it's available on the app, but they don't have cell service? What can they do ahead of time?
I recommend pulling them up when you have some downtime and taking a screenshot and keeping it in your photos, just like you would an insurance card or something, so that you always have it in your photo reel so you can pull it up even if you don't have service.
And what are the ones they ask for the most?
That would be the cab card, which is your registration, IFTA license, and insurance.
I think we got a question here.
I understand that you say it's on the mobile app, but you do know some of these DOT officers will not accept those because they want paper in hand. So as you're saying is, yeah. So if we get a fine for not having it, is Prime going to pay it? Because that falls back on us because you're saying use mobile app and they won't accept it.
So legally, they're supposed to accept it. Same way she's telling you to take a photo of it, I would tell you have your registration, your IFTA, and your insurance printed out. Now, it's up to you. They're supposed to take it, but it doesn't, we're not out there, right? I'm with you 100%. Take care of what you think you need to do on your business. Yes, Glenn.
I know for a fact Kentucky will not even look at your phone. If you ain't got paper, they're gonna write you.
And I would recommend then have a paper copy of it.
And you can also bring your book to us while you're here. We'll update everything for you. Anytime you come through the yard, if you want to bring it to us, we'll put everything in there for you, make sure you're up to date.
And I've got one other thing to say. So we talked about the snow and everything that's going on right now. And then pre-trips, I know they talked about it earlier just a little bit. Pre-trip, as you're walking around there, look for your IFTA stickers. Make sure they didn't blow off, right? It may have been kind of cold, stuck for a little while, and then came off of there. License plate on the front or your trailer, kicking up snow. We always see an increase of missing license plates, and a lot of it had to do with the weather that's going on. So even if it was there on your pre-trip, you stop for a little while, do your walk around, make sure those things are still there for you guys. Go ahead.
There's also a new permit, kind of like the New York Hut, but they don't require a sticker. It's for Connecticut highway use. And they do require a paper copy for that. So I actually have some with me today if you want to pick one up, or we can fax or email that to anybody on the road, or you can pick one up in the permits department while you're here.
What questions do you guys have? Lynn, where you guys? Oh yeah, go ahead.
And also, anytime you're attached to a trailer, your trailer registration will be under My Permits in the app and My Trailer. It'll have that specific trailer registration in there in case you're missing one in the tube. And we can always also fax or email you a copy if you're in somewhere you can get that.
And that's an item that's come up recently on inspections is no trailer registration. You guys realize you have trailer registration. Now, maybe if you're in Kentucky, they might not take it, but generally they're going to be able to take it, the electronic copy of it. So make sure you guys realize that resource is there for you. And speaking of resources, she said, come get your permit book updated. Remind them again where you guys are at.
Yes, we are in the Plaza building where inbound outbound is. We're inside next to logs and driver lineup.
Perfect. Leon will be over here for a little while afterward. You have questions. Otherwise, on your outbound side, inbound, outbound, come see him if you guys need anything at all. Thank you, Leon. I appreciate it. So the other part of the people that are in the plazas is going to be Christina Crochel, and she works in the TWIC office there and takes care of the retention reward side of it. And really, retention rewards almost started in 2002, so it's almost 20 years old. And it's a program. When Dave was talking about, we have a lot of different offerings here. And if you're a company driver, you have 401k. If you're an independent contractor under Prime's authority, there's not a 401k for you. So several years ago, 2002, Daryl and some other people, and actually, if you see Daryl today, he's sitting over here. I believe today is his 28-year anniversary. Is that correct? Yes. Congratulations, Daryl. So back in the day, he was really smart and came up with this plan to make a program for independent contractors to basically kind of a retirement program. And like I said, Christina, come on up. Christina's the one who really administers it day in and day out. Well, hello. So first off, I'll just let you kind of talk about the plan a little bit and what it is and how it's beneficial to them.
Okay, so the retention and rewards program, like Sean said, was designed for owner operators, lease of contractors that cannot be involved in the 401k as a company employee. It is an amazing program, actually. You sign up for it whenever you sign your initial lease. It's $1,500 every year that they contribute to an account for you. You choose your investment options. As long as you drive or operate with us for 10 years and become vested, everything that's in that account pays out to you when you turn 65 years old. It actually triggers in the system at your 65th birthday, and then within 2 weeks, we typically have the check ready to go for you.
So how much is put in there each time and who puts it in?
So it's $1,500 every year on the anniversary of your original service contract. 1,000 of that comes from the prime side, 500 of that comes from Success Leasing. The only difference is if you own your truck completely, you just get the $1,000 from prime. You would no longer qualify for the 500 from Success Leasing.
So we have several drivers that have been paid out already 65, and they continue to drive. What happens then?
If you continue to drive after your 65th birthday, once you get that either lump sum payout or start your annual installment payouts, whichever you've chosen, you still get the either $1,500 or the $1,000 contribution every year on that anniversary of your service date. We can't put it into that account any longer because the way that it's all written, 65 is paid out, but we don't want you guys to not get the benefits of that. So Prime still does take care of that for you guys. It just is the direct check to you versus going into an account.
So the reward side is Prime and Success put in money for you. You contribute nothing to it. The retention side of it is you have to be here 10 years. So if you're here
10 consecutive years.
Yes. So yeah, without a break in service. And what is a break in service?
Break in service is considered anything between leases that's beyond 60 days. So that means if you take 63 days off between your leases, you start over on the retention and rewards because that is a break in service. That's more than the allotted time that it is written to allow. The exception to that is if it's medical and you have a medical paperwork from your doctor stating that you were out from, this date to whatever the current date is, then that would get you an exception for medical, and we could take care of that.
With that medical exception, though, you do have to be back within 60 days after that you're clear.
Yeah, the way that it works, just like you have to be back at the end of that 59 or 60 days between leases. If you are out for medical, once you are cleared and released to go back to work from your doctor, whatever that letter states, whatever date happens to be on that, that basically starts your 59 days. You have to be back and signed on a lease within 59 days of that release from your doctor in order for us to be able to do a medical exception.
So we're talking about money. I know she's got some numbers too. I'll just throw out a quick one for you. Right now, we have vested almost $21 million ready to be paid out to people at the right time. And so it gets paid out. Yeah, that's a huge number. So it gets paid out each month as people get to it. So I think you got some payout numbers from this past year.
I have a total payout since January 1st of 2022. We've paid out $1,380,496.50. That is the payout amounts for people who have turned 65. That doesn't include the amounts of $1,500 or $1,000 payouts that they continue to get once they've already been paid out. That's just the you've turned 65, you've met your vesting, here's your, your payout, your distribution.
We have 6 drivers with a balance over 100,000 right now. One of them is actually in this room, and the highest balance that I saw in there was $128,000. So huge numbers out there. So whenever you go to pay it out, what are some of the hurdles you end up seeing?
So yeah, that's a couple of points that whenever you fill out your paperwork that's in your lease, so it's either in your initial lease, it's an 8-page document that you fill out, it goes to me, I send everything into principal, or if you've had a break in service and you come back and you have to start over, it will be in that lease, because every time you have a break in service, you're required to fill out that set of paperwork again, or it just sits there not gaining any kind of interest. The biggest issue that I see is people not keeping their addresses up to date. especially if you happen to leave and you're not with us anymore, we have to be able to find you in order to get that money to you. So it's really important that you either stay in contact to keep that address up to date, or you can go online. Principal lets you log in, choose a username and password. You can change your investment options. You can keep your addresses up to date. You can keep your beneficiaries up to date, which leads me to my next point. That's very important. If something were to happen to you and that money is supposed to pay out to your beneficiary, and we can't find them, or you don't have one, or it's not updated, we have to go by whatever's on that document. That means if you don't have anybody, it could go into probate. That means if you don't have anybody on there, it could sit there till, potentially forever. If you have an ex-spouse that you've left on there and something happens to you, that we have to go by what's on that paperwork, whether that's who you would currently want to get that money or not. So make sure you guys are keeping those things up to date.
And I'll put another plug in for the emergency contact, because none of us really know when something's going to happen. So emergency contact, I talked about it earlier, another my information piece of it. It's not only important for this, but if something happens to you in general, we just have to know who to get a hold of. So, and speaking of the app, actually, if you guys have any questions on the app, over here is Richard and Brianne. They're both the app experts. They'll be here a little bit afterward if you have any questions about it also. So anything I missed?
No, I don't think so. The only thing I do want to say is I get a lot of questions about, can you contribute money to it? But it is not a 401k like we've covered. It is called a 409A. It is a deferred compensation plan. So the way that those are set up, and because you're not company employees, you actually can't contribute anything to that yourself. So you'll never see anything come out of your check for that. You'll never, nothing like that. This is all money that Prime and Success Leasing contributes for you, giving you the opportunity to choose those investment options.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. And let's give them both a good round of applause. Maybe we can talk them into coming up another time after this. So thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, hold up 1 second. Got a quick question for Sean.
Yes, sir.
Sean, Emily wants to know how close we are to testing the ComData cards with the chip.
They're supposed to be in our hands within the next week or so. And there's a group of people that have already asked to be helping that test part of it. So I'm going to anticipate it'll be next week or two. I think we have another question now too. Nope. All right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks, Sean.
Hang on.
Yeah, on the Prime card, personal side, for the last week and a half or so, anything over about $300 is declining when I try to use it.
I don't think that's across the board. So Glenn, I'll look at yours independently and see if there's something going on with it. And I appreciate letting me know. And I'll just say real quick, if you guys noticed anything like that, if your card's not working how it was before, get a hold of us. It should be working exactly as it was. So I'll look into yours, Glenn, and just everybody else. Don't just tolerate it, guys. It needs to work right. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thanks, Sean. Hey, again, Dave and I mentioned earlier today that today's a very special day here at Prime. We've got our Christmas party here in Springfield. So we expect for a ton of folks to be here at the yard. So we thought it'd be a good idea to bring Andrew Littleton from Driver's Lineup over to talk a little bit about, where to park, what those guys do, what the expectation is when you guys get here, and before you start talking again, when you come in, you park, you want to come and enjoy the great food. Robert has an open bar for us. I'm going to say, from that last sip of adult beverages, we need 24 hours before you get on the road and expect to drive. So if you're in a situation where you're on a pass through, we may just pass through the bar as well and go straight to the food line. All right. Now, if you're here for a couple days, come on, great. Come in and enjoy the spirit with us and have a great time tonight. So Andrew, what you got for us?
All right, Dennis answered my question there on the time frame for drinking. So we've got a lot of people here right now. You've probably seen the yard. It's pretty full. We've been moving trailers off the yard for days now. We've got a bunch sitting down on the pad. They're already empties. So when we go to leave, we're going to be sending people to the pad to get ready empties, and we'll assign you an empty. We got them in order. They're all not blocked in. We're good to go. So as you leave, if you're not planning on drinking, that'd be great to come by today. We can get you pre-planned on something heading out tomorrow. If you plan on drinking, obviously 24 hours. So I want you not leave until Sunday morning. You can get a pre-planned tomorrow. That being said, we have showers going up there, laundry if you guys want to get all freshened up before you go party. And yeah, that's about all I got on that. We have some just quick winter tips. We've seen a lot of people leaving without anti-gel and tire chains. I want you guys to know that we have both of those right now in the outbound bays. Our fuel is treated to -10, so we're good till then, but anything past that, we're gonna need to treat. And yeah.
Looks like we got a question over here from Mitch.
Yeah.
Yeah, Phil wants to know, what does driver lineup do?
What does driver lineup do? Great question. We manage the yard. So if you're coming in with a load, you're dropping a load. If you have bills, you'll give them to us. We'll take you off the load and repower it. We're responsible for all the freight in this area, the local pickups, Kraft, Monette. We do the Tysons and all that. So we're pretty much dispatch, sales, and part of maintenance, but just in this area.
Hey, I got a quick question for you, and this is former fleet manager inside of me. I used to tell my fleet, hey, when we're on the yard, this is really the one time that we can pick whatever load we want. Kind of what's driver lineup's mindset? Well, as far as, do you want the driver to kind of start with a fleet manager once they're ready to go, or do you want them to come straight to you, or what do you want the situation to be?
Well, we like them to come straight to us. We get to deal with them and talk to them, and that's our favorite part of the job. But we have priorities, of course, different customers, loads that need to deliver. Being a drop yard, we have to treat it as such. If anybody's dropped in Fontana or anywhere before, we have locals. We have to cover them. Part of using the drop yard is covering the locals and doing some things we don't want to do sometimes, but we'll always back you up and make sure you have a great load after. I just ask that everybody does that leaving, especially with as many people as we have in here. We're going to have locals and things we're going to have to take care of. We got to take care of the customers.
And last but not least, before you get out of here, these are the folks that are here in the terminal that administer the random drug test that comes through. So, and it's not, you're not supposed to know in advance that you're having a random drug test. That wouldn't make it random. So when you check in with lineup and they tell you, hey, Dennis, you need to step around here. We've got a quick test for you. They're doing their job. So.
Yeah. And Dennis, what % of the fleet do we have to test every year? Do you know?
50.
50. So 50% is what we have to test. They are pulled randomly every month. So you may get pulled multiple times. I've had a lot of people recently thinking we're targeting them. We're not. We don't like doing them either.
I imagine. Hey, thank you so much for being here. Hopefully we'll see you at the party tonight. Have a great time. So give Andrew a round of applause. I think we got most of the housekeeping taken care of. We talked about the app. We talked about the party tonight. We've got somebody who's going to come on up. Come on, make your way up.
Yeah, I'll make my way up here.
You're a pretty handsome guy. One thing I want to do before you do that, and since you have the mic, Dave and I have on red kind of tucked in under our shirts. You see a lot of our speakers, and our folks over here, they've got on red. So I'm going to ask you to come on up, and I'm going to let you talk to somebody a lot more important around here than me. So.
No, not really. How are you? And your name is?
Raymond Govan.
Hey, Raymond. Step right up here because they want to see you, all these people looking at you here. Now, Raymond, I see you may have served in the armed forces.
Yes, sir, I did.
And a Marine.
Yes, sir.
How long?
6 years.
6 years. Well, we thank you for your service.
Thank you.
I think we should recognize everybody else that served in the armed forces with us, don't you, Raymond?
Yes, sir.
Please stand up and be recognized. Thank you for your service to our country. You are the heroes. Hoorah! And we're glad to have you with our team. Thank you very much, Raymond. It's a pleasure. So, man, it's winding down. That ball in New York, they're probably already putting it up there. They're getting ready to drop it here before long. The holidays are tough in this business because we know everybody wants to be somewhere special. Those of you that choose to run and pull a load and run an extra day to satisfy our customers, we cannot thank you enough. That does not mean we don't appreciate those of you that choose to take time off. You've certainly earned it. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword. We're weathering the storm, literally. It's finally gone, I think, and roads are pretty much clear. So I know we got a lot of trucks out there running, and those of you that are listening, instead of being here, we want to thank you for being out there. Please be safe. I know we get feedback from our customers, and they're so grateful for those of you that choose to run. You've heard a lot today about Prime. I was doing the math on this R&R, 21 million. And that's a big number. We're proud of it. Again, you all have earned it. I think we have a very generous 401k for our in-house associates to participate in as well. And we're blessed in that way. It gives us all a little bit of a nest egg if and when we choose to retire or move on. So Robert, we thank you for that. You've built a wonderful company here, a great culture. We thank you. Before I give the floor to Robert, hey, John, could you hustle up here real quick? Come up here real quick. This is the guy and his staff that is putting together the event tonight, the party. We got a microphone here. Here, you use mine. So this is John Blanson, and if you guys are wise, you'd give him a standing ovation because he's doing a ton of work.
Yeah.
And his staff.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we got a lot of great food tonight. We got some carved beef tenderloin. We got shrimp, oysters, all kinds of good appetizers and dessert. And yeah, you know, really it's the staff that have been working all day yesterday and late last night getting the party ready for you tonight. So yeah, thank you very much. We're looking forward to doing it.
Now, I probably won't want an adult beverage, but if someone should want an adult beverage.
Yeah.
There's something there.
Yeah, there's a handful of bars that'll be open. Yeah, and it's
I'll try to visit each and every one of them.
Robert's very generous and free flowing.
Okay, John, thank you for and you and your staff. Thanks very much. Okay. Robert, come on. The floor is yours, man. We're running long.
We are.
Happy New Year.
You get back to work.
Yes.
Especially you for a change. Hey, good morning, folks. Good to see you. Happy New Year. Just a little bit early. Happy New Year. Looking forward to that big party tonight. It's a low key, no stress, you know, just come and relax and partake of John's good cooking and, you know, a drink or two if you prefer. You probably need to get there a little early on the drinks because Wookie makes it to that bar first. There may not be a hell of a lot left. You know what I'm saying? That's how he rolls. But man, we love you folks, and we're looking forward to a nice party. Please stay safe. You know, if you need a room or you need a ride, you know, contact somebody here, some of these in-house people, and we'll get you taken care of. We want everybody to get home safely to their loved ones tonight. It's the most important thing. And we also want you to have a good time. Let's get home safe. God bless you. Please be safe. I'll see you tonight, I hope.